accumulating a lot of money in my teenage years and then like in my 20s and stuff like that is because I'll tell you a quick story. Well, a couple of quick stories. Um, I remember I was dating this one sister, and this is after I had already dated a couple sisters, but I'll just start from there. I was dating this one sister from Teaneck, New Jersey, dark skinned sister, and my mom's actually pointed that out back then. She said, "You have a preference. You prefer to date uh, dark skinned girls." And I didn't realize that till I actually took like paid attention to the type of girls that I was actually taking seriously. And 90% of them were dark skinned. So, um, dating a dark skinned sister from Teaneck, dimples, nice long hair. Before all that wig stuff came into play, but I remember when we met, it was after my recreation basketball game, and we had lost. And me and my man Josh was sitting down on the side by the court, but on the floor on the wall. And a sister that I was dating prior to that walked up to us and introduced me to her, and she said, "Yo, my homegirl, um, want your number?" And I remember she had a cold sore on her lips. I was looking like, and I was just like, "All right, cool, it's whatever." So I gave her the number, which was wild. I was like, "Yo, I was just with you like 2 weeks ago." So um, she ended up calling me a day later. Was it a day later? Like I would say a couple days later. She ended up calling the crib. You know, I'm in my teenage years, so I still live at home. She ended up calling the crib, and we just started talking. We started getting heavy. Now I was dating somebody already, but me and her started talking, and I was dating another dark skinned sister, and they actually looked very similar aside from the dimples. That was the only thing that separated them really was one had dimples and the other one didn't, but they both had nice long hair. They both was had dark skin complexion. So we started talking and we started getting real close. And she invited me up to her house, and she had told her moms about me and stuff like that. Well, both her parents, her mother and her father, and I went up there to meet them, and we were cool. They were cool. You know what I'm saying? They were cool with me being in the house. So I was the first guy that was able to go upstairs and chill in her room. I was the first guy to be able to sleep in the house without her father being there, or just sleep in the house. Period. I wasn't allowed to sleep in her room, but I was allowed to sleep in the basement. So what she would do was she would just chill with me in the basement till like 2, 3 in the morning until she got real sleepy, and then she would go up to her room. So I was the first guy to be able to do all of that because of the respect level, because her parents like me, and they just saw that I wasn't like bugging out or nothing like that. So, and I was attending Job Corps as well, and her mom's actually ended up taking me to um, Route 46 in Teterboro, New Jersey, and to a used car dealership back then, which was called Car Connection. And she told me to, well, they both, the girl I was dating and her mother, they both took me over there, and they told me to pick out a car. Now I'm thinking that they wanted me to pick out a car for her, something that she may like. But nah, they was like, nah, you pick out a car for you. And I'm like, blew my mind, blew my mind. Still this day, I still can't. I'm like, damn, wow. So I ended up picking out walking through the lot, and the only thing that I saw to my liking was a Audi 80. I think it was like an early '90s Audi, champagne color, and it had like had some little rims on it and all that, so tints and all that. So I picked that out, and it was a three. Back then, it would cost $3,000. So her mother, we went inside, they did the paperwork, and she put down 1,500. And she said to me, she says, "Listen, when you graduate, I'm gonna put the other 15, and then you'll have that car because I don't want, you know, my daughter to be walking around." So I'm like, okay, cool. Unfortunately, I didn't um, graduate from Job Corps, so I never got the car. But the fact that they was even willing to do that was a big thing for me as well. even till this day, I'm still super appreciative of that. But about a year into it, it's everything was still cool, and she used to just buy me stuff. She used to just buy me sneakers. She used to just come to my house with stuff. You know what I'm saying? When you know, we took a trip to South Carolina to go hang out with her sister and her boyfriend for a week. She paid for it. I just met her at the airport. Stuff like that. Like, these are the reasons why I never really had to focus on it because she would just do stuff for me. And then I ended up, and that's just one case. And then the other sister that I was dating prior to that, not the one that introduced us, the one that I was already dating, while I was talking to her, I ended up meeting her mother and father as well, who lived on the other side of my neighborhood. And they came home and they saw me in there, and they was upset at first, but then they ended up calling me back up there later on that day, and it was just like, "Yo, my daughter likes you." Her father was like, "Yo, my daughter likes you. I don't know what it is, but my daughter likes you a lot because she talks about you all the time." So now I'm able to be in the house and hang out in the house. Same thing, hang out in her room and stuff like that with her parents' permission. So again, it was just like I never needed to focus on money because of these type of situations. Just a few dollars here and there to go see a movie or to go to the mall or do teenage things, but it was never really a big deal. So, and then another time, another one more. I'll give you another one. Another sister that I had met um, from Simi Valley, California. Yeah, Simi Valley, California. So, I ended up talking to her mother on the phone. She was here. I met her during the summer and she was here visiting. And then while she was in California, I ended up speaking to her mother on the phone. And her mother was like, "Yo, do you live in a dangerous part of, New Jersey, stuff like that?" I was just like, "Yo, everywhere has its own little pocket of nonsense, but no, it's not necessarily dangerous." Um, and she was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So she put her daughter on a plane to come see me. Two flights. She had a overlay. Is how you say? She had an overlay in Atlanta, and then she jumped on another flight, and then she came to New York. I picked her up. I met her at LaGuardia Airport, and what's crazy is she was on the same flight as Jadakiss because they got off. She walked out right behind him. And I was just like, "Yo, is that Jadakiss?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's him." And I was like, "You was on the flight with Jadakiss?" She was like, "Who? Who is that?" She didn't know nothing about rap. She wasn't like a hip hopper or nothing like that. Like the way if you heard her talk on her phone, you would thought you wouldn't even think she was black. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, again, dark skinned sister, thick dimples, long hair. It's the same way every time. So um we ended up going to she stayed with me for the weekend. No, I think for like 4 days. We stayed at the Marriott Hotel, whatever the case may be. And again, she bought me some sneakers while she was here. She bought me some shirts and stuff like that. Um, while I was in detention, she had sent me a couple of letters, but the fact that she even made the trip, to come stay with me and stuff like that, and I spoke with her mother. And then when she got back to California, I remember I put her on the flight back. When she got back to California, she spoke to her parents about me being able to come there. So I spoke to her mother on the phone. Her mother was like, "Listen, you can stay in the house. You're just gonna have to find a job." I'm like, "Okay," but I wasn't ready to make that kind of change so abruptly to my life. Like, just move all the way to Semi California. I ain't got no family out there. If something goes wrong and they kick me out, then I gotta fly all the way back. Like, I was just like, let me think about that one. You know what I'm saying? So, her father was okay with it. He was a truck driver, so they was like, "Yo, he's on the road 90% of the time. He's only home maybe like 3 days, 4 days a month. Most of the time he's not even here." But he knew the situation because it was like, we talked to him, and he just wants you to be able to work. All right, cool. But I just wasn't ready to make that kind of a change to my life. Pretty much, I was pretty much scared. You might as well say I pretty much was scared, but. just these are just small stories, and I could share other stories. It's just I'm just giving y'all those three, just to help y'all to understand why it was never necessary for me to really have a lot of money. But I've seen a lot of money throughout my life, and those stories I won't share as far as like yeah, I won't share certain stories about me being in the street and stuff like that and accumulating a lot of money in the street. But um yeah, yeah, it's like a roller coaster. But it's just more clarification why it was never really necessary. You know what I'm saying? Even like my homeboys and my partners and all of them. Like, I mean, if I was low on some bread or something like that, they'd be like, "Yo, come on, we got you. Like, it's all good." You know what I mean? Like, don't worry, man. It was just, it was just like that. Like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? Always kept my gear right and stuff like that. With the money that I made, but it was just like it was always just those type of situations where it was just like, all right, cool. Like, I'm not even looking for this. I'd rather just chill and kick back. But if people are offering to do these things for me, or if people are willing to pay for me to do things that I'm okay with not doing, then it's just like, all right, cool. Like, I'll go. Why not? So, just a little bit more clarification. And yeah, I had a lot of cool stuff. I think I've had up to date, I've had like, I think like 7, 8 cars, 300ZX, two Golfs. I think, no, I think one of them was a GTI, the red one. Acura Integra, 5 Series Beamer, um, E430 Benz, C280 Benz. Like, I've had nice things, man. Lived in Ramsey, New Jersey. I've had nice things. I've seen a lot of nice things. So, and then even those things really came to me because I wasn't really looking to do those things. It was just like the situation presented itself, and if I had the money, I just do it. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, just a little bit more clarification on why I never needed to really focus on it. And again, even till this day, it's just like, you know, sisters still be like, "Yo, like, nah, I got you," and stuff like that. It's like, all right, cool. But yeah, it's more important because you want to take trips and you want to go places. You want to see the world. You want to travel. You want to you want to live without struggling. So yeah, it's more important. So that's why I started this business. And well, me and my partner, we started this business together because we want to leave something behind for our children and stuff like that. And if we do have children, if it's in the cards, we want to leave something behind. But um, yeah, yeah. So again, we're gonna have some more dope stuff for y'all for the spring summer season, and just be on the lookout. So just to give you a little bit more clarification uh, um, about the last video that I posted. So